Welcome to Ghost Stories Online. This week, we will hear the story of the Phantom and the Faustus. If you do enjoy the story, please remember to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn notifications on so that you get each story each week. Tenor Vladimir Val Rosing, who lived from 1890 to 1963, made his debut in Russia in 1910. Before long, his cultured St. Petersburg family disappeared, and he fled the murderous tumult preceding the revolution. By 1912, he was acting and directing London operas. By 1939, he was singing, acting, dancing, producing, and directing in Hollywood. Though George Bernard Shaw praised Rosing as more than a tenor, he is the whole band. In the grand scheme of things, his gifts may have been behind the stage. His moment comes in 1923 on the deck of a liner crossing the ocean. The young expatriate who had seen and done so much had a big spirit. He must also have been a talker. Maybe something in the sky brought him out. The slant of waning sunlight on the Atlantic clouds. He may not have known the composed stranger to whom he sounded off. Among Rosing's dreams was bringing the highest forms of musical art, including opera, to the man or woman in the American street. A few months later, Rosing got a cable from the man with whom he had shared that sunset. Rochester photography tycoon George Eastman. Soon he found himself a leading figure of the Rochester Renaissance and directing the Eastman School of Music. A dramatic, psychic experience comes from this Rochester stay, preserved for us by Paul Horgan in his 1936 Harper's article. Ontario winters can be bleak. In 1924, Rosing's company was looking for indoor entertainment and held an after-hours seance. The occasional circle isn't unusual in the home base of spiritualism, and the cast may have had magic on the mind. They were at work on Gounod's opera Faust, about a medieval German doctor who sold his soul to the devil. These witchy plays often develop supernatural auras. Think of Macbeth. 8 living souls held hands over a heavy mahogany table in the Rochester apartment of Rosing's fiancée, Peggy Williamson. On this device, with its griffin's claw legs, an invisible guest conveyed his message, evidently through rapping sounds and the code devised by the early spiritualists. Perhaps inspired by the ominous play, the Rochester spook called itself Faustus, and said it had come to Rochester to set a few things straight about the life of the real man. It then treated the group to a mediumistic display like those of the century before. The heavy table moved itself, sliding, lifting, tapping, and banging to make its answers. This terrified some of the attendees. The spook's utterances, though, were comic relief. It rapped out resolutions like the titles of New Age CDs, ponderous only because of their unvisualables: life, soul, secret, words, world. This spirit of Faust had a new wrinkle. It promised a display at the Eastman Theater at the company's next performance, and it seemed to deliver. During the show, a cross of light manifested on the stage floor, danced about for a few seconds, and vanished. No one had been in the light room at the time, and neither the light crew nor the projector operator could explain the effect. The detached observer 8 decades later can't say much about this event. The success of the remarkable 1970s Philip experiment in Toronto seems to validate the possibility of psychic phenomena being produced on cue for willing individuals. People remember Rosing, but some have noted a want of elaboration about many details of his life. The sense of a big picture is missing, which lends a spark of intrigue, if not mystery, to Val Rosing. He was never a big wheel in Tinseltown, but he was busy, active, and successful, and he seems to have been a well-liked individual to the end of his days. He had several marriages, left many descendants, and seems to have led a great American life. He must have done all this, though, with a heavy heart all his life. The loss of a family could do that.